Lately there has been a lot of talks online that Bali is changed and people are leaving because they don't like it anymore, and I lived here for the last 2 years. So in this video I will give you my opinion how Bali is now, and of course probably many of the people who complain about Bali changing so much is the people who started living here during the pandemic like I did and see the difference, because of course there's way more people and it's a little bit different now. And mainly here we're talking about the Canggu area because this is the best and most popular area for long stay for foreigners, especially for digital nomads. One thing I want to talk about first is surf in Canggu, because Canggu actually used to be like a little surf village and it wasn't so popular back in the day, and also many people compare it to that, so of course it changed a lot because now it's really developed and there's a lot of like beach clubs and restaurants and like a lot of things, so it changed a lot from that. But of course that's really nice for long stay and people who work especially to stay long term here because there's so much of everything. I'm checking the surf today. It's actually a little bit bigger today, so it seems like there's less people. It's nice morning. This is like one of the best days I've seen lately that is not too busy. Actually usually there's way more people here. What a good day to surf. I had such an amazing time. It's great when it's like this that it's easy to find like spots where it's not other people there but the wave is still good. So I got some really nice waves and just having awesome time. It's so beautiful in the morning. The water looks so nice and glassy today, no wind. So yeah, pretty perfect surf season. But yeah, lately it hasn't always been perfect like this. Sometimes it's just way too busy and it's impossible to find a place to surf without all the people. So yeah, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But of course there's many surf spots, and if you can get a board with your scooter you can go a little bit further away and there's many spots that are for sure less busy. But it's definitely the issue in my opinion in Uluwatu also and in Canggu that it's just way too busy. There's so many people surfing, so it's a little bit difficult sometimes. So I wouldn't say that it's the best place to learn surfing in the world, but it's also really nice that it's only 50k for 2 hours surfboard rental, so it's really affordable and it's easy to go surf often here. So it's not all bad, but if you like me who don't want to surf middle of all the people in a crowd, then maybe just be aware of that it's not the best. But luckily nowadays Canggu is so much more than just a surf scene, but more about that later. And generally lately it doesn't feel too busy in Canggu at all, especially if you know the nice areas to stay a little bit away from all the crowds and big traffic and stuff like that. I personally don't mind the traffic at all nowadays in Canggu because I stay in a nice area and I don't really go so often somewhere that is like crazy traffic. So I would recommend really thinking where to stay when you're coming because it makes a big difference. And you can check my Bali guide, the link is in the description. There's a video where I explain all the areas and what are the best areas to stay and what are the areas to avoid. So I think this has been the main issue that people complain about is traffic. And yes, sometimes like during Christmas or something I seen that is crazy, and generally it's just every now and then it happens that somewhere it gets really stuck and it's bad, and in some areas it's kind of always bad. And Canggu definitely has developed a lot during the last years. There's so much construction, there's so much new development, so that's can be seen as a bad thing or a good thing. And for me, like, I really do enjoy that there's so many new cafes, there's new shops, new restaurants, new gyms, new everything. So that is really nice, especially for a long stay, because it never gets like boring because there's always so much options for everything, and also new places coming up all the time. But the negative with that is of course that it's a little bit annoying when there's so much construction everywhere, especially like if you stay somewhere where next door there's big construction. It's really annoying with the sounds and everything, and also the trucks sometimes stuck the roads and stuff like that, so it's a little bit annoying, but mostly it's okay. But one thing that I also really don't enjoy about the development is the rice fields, because Canggu used to be like such a nice area, especially going a little bit away from Canggu. There's so many big rice fields and it's really amazing and so beautiful, but still so close to Canggu. And the area where I stayed, there used to be so nice untouched rice fields. They're just so beautiful for walks or like sunsets and everything. So now there's so much development, new villas and new everything there, so it's not as beautiful anymore. Like you see, like it feels like every month there's new rice field that is ruined because of they're building something there. So that is one negative that makes Canggu a little bit less beautiful than it used to. But still there's many rice fields and it's still really tropical and nice in some areas in Canggu, so it's not completely ruined or anything. Within the last few years, especially Canggu has become way more fitness focused, and I kind of like it. There's so many of these new gyms, like Obsidian is my new favorite. It's so chill spot. They have a nice infinite pool with rice field view and also ice bath and infrared sauna. So it's really nice that there's so many more of these nice places coming all the time, and also for like healthy fitness food options. There's more cafes, there's more restaurants and more different activities, but more about that later. But yeah, it used to be more like a vegan heaven and now it's more like a fitness heaven, I guess. I really love these gyms. It feels so good to do workout. and then sauna, and then finish it off with ice bath. It feels so good. However bad day I'm having, I feel amazing 100%. Then out of 10 after the routine of doing ice bath, after the workout and the sauna. It just works every single time. Whew. And of course I don't mind sitting in the ice bath for a while with this view. It's really amazing. And now all the rice field is just harvested, so it's not as nice, but I can't wait to see how it is when the rice fields are all up. And all the gyms and everything is the best in Canggu, but also in Uluwatu there has been so many new developments and gyms and paddle and everything. So I'm really looking forward to Uluwatu because it's less busy and there's so many beautiful beaches and it's just more relaxed and chill place. So I can't wait to see how it's gonna be soon, and maybe it's gonna be even nicer to live in Uluwatu soon, but I will keep you updated on that. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to see all the next videos from Bali. And one thing that Bali used to be famous for is like yoga and spirituality and stuff like that, and of course still there is Ubud that is full of that and it hasn't changed. But also Canggu used to be a really nice place for spirituality and yoga. There's so many yoga studios and events and like workshops and everything, and it still is. So it hasn't changed, but of course there's more tourists now and there's more people who are more into like a business or crypto or something, or partying. So of course it's not like community that is mostly made of like spiritual yoga people. But yeah, I think Canggu never has been, but Ubud is. But also in Canggu I personally love to do yoga and do that kind of stuff, so it's really nice for that. So there's many options, and probably my favorite yoga studio in Canggu is the practice. It's really beautiful and it's just really nice yoga lessons. And there's still many health stores like the same ones that used to be, and also new ones coming all the time, and all the restaurants that used to be so famous like Create, Motion, Shady Shack, Vegan Babe, like all these restaurants or beach bars like La Brisa, they're of course still all here, so it hasn't changed. Like there's just so much new things, but also the famous iconic Bali restaurants and bars, they're still here. And that's honestly really awesome because some of the new places, they're a little bit more expensive and smaller dishes, and like I don't really enjoy that much, but the old ones are still the same. Really affordable for the quality, taste and the portions. And the accommodation situation also has changed quite a bit, and it's one of the biggest issues people have, and I agree a lot with that, because especially during the pandemic it was so easy to find nice places to stay in Bali for like $200, $300 to up to $600 per month. I was staying in an amazing villa in a resort close to the beach with $600 during the pandemic. It was just incredible. And of course, since Bali opened up, all these kind of opportunities for accommodation are all gone. There's nothing like that anymore, and that's understandable. But of course there is a little bit of issue here, because sometimes it feels like the semi-long-term accommodation is the same price than in Europe almost. So that's of course a little bit annoying, because you're expecting that it's really affordable to come here. But yeah, it's not so much like that anymore, but you can still find nice places. Like the place where I'm staying now is only $500 still per month, so it's really good value for money. It's close to the beach and it's quite nice design and comfortable. You can check my Bali guide again for all my recommendations for accommodation and how to find the best ones and get the best deals. But yeah, it's a little bit annoying to see all the rice field being ruined by like a luxury big villas and nice accommodation that is gonna be so expensive, so it's not really available for most of us. And then at the same time there's not really options for this like $300 to $600 per month. So that's my complaint. Like I hope there would be more accommodation that is reasonably priced and nothing like incredibly luxury or amazing, but still nice. One of my favorite changes in Bali and in Canggu is that there's even more activities, and for example paddle I love to go play, and it's also a good way to meet people. They have WhatsApp chat where always they post games you can join, so you can meet new people, and it's really easy to find people to play with. And it's really nice that within the last year there's so many new paddle courts and new activities coming already. So it's just really nice that there's pretty much any activity you wanna do you can do in Bali now, and especially in Canggu. And one thing I wanna say here also, for example for sunsets, it's really busy in Canggu area, but when you go to the little bit more local area, just a few minutes drive from Canggu, it's really beautiful and much less people. It's really peaceful, and I think I put some footage here from Sunday, and it's really busy for the local people because they always go on the Sundays, but most of the days it's really peaceful. There's only few people. So I think most people who complain about Bali and Canggu being way too busy, they also don't really go to the areas that are less busy. So I would recommend doing your research if you don't want to be in the crowd, to like where to go then, because if you stay in those areas and if you spend more time in those areas that are more peaceful and more nice, then there's not really much to complain in my opinion. So yeah, Bali has changed for sure, but not that much in the end of the day. Of course it's easy to find something to complain being negative, but in my opinion, stay positive, focus on the positive things, because there's still so much in Bali. After traveling a lot in the other countries, I would still say that Bali is my favorite area to stay long term, and there's so much Bali has to offer for anybody traveling for short time or staying long term, or people who work here. It's still really comfortable place to work. There's good Wi-Fi, there's many nice restaurants to work from, co-working spaces, and everything you basically need for long-term living. And big shout out to the local people and the culture here. Balinese people are the best and the culture is amazing also to experience. So it's a really special place, and not only for the lifestyle but everything, the nature, the culture, the people. So highly recommend you still to come to Bali. I wouldn't be too discouraged by what people are saying online, especially if you know where to go and how to get the most out of your life in Bali. But anyway, feel free to ask any questions. I will be answering to everybody. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you next week.